I generally quote myself that there are many things in life I don't understand. But definitely, one thing that I can understand very clearly is the business of electricity and the nuances of regulations that follows.
You want to go for a bigger hub kind of a charging station wherein you put more number of chargers, more number of connectors. And which one is the biggest you have as of now?
Well, the biggest one is 1.2 megawatt cumulative capacity, 5 superchargers. If I map out ChargeZone network, our own network across the commercial vehicles and personal mobility, together we are already at roughly 12 to 14%.
Very nice.
Today we are inching towards the first 100 plus trucks of 50 by 10 and 50 by capacity. Corporates which are also very, very serious about their carbon footprints.
Yeah.
Is it that you want to adopt clean mobility for cost economics or for the environment?
Yes.
We want to earn the brownie points on the ESG targets, therefore the carbon footprints. Go to take a call. I'm glad some of the very environment conscious customers did agree to sign up, even considering that.
Now you're targeting, I think, to move up to 250 plus trucks very soon. So what is the challenge, right?
For the industry to be competitive, the cost of capital need to be lower, and it's been my request to the government, and of course we represent through various forums, is to make electric mobility as a priority lending sector.
Welcome to today's podcast, wherein we delve into India's clean mobility future. Today, I have Mr. Kartikey Hariyani, founder of ChargeZone and Billion Electric, with me to discuss and deep dive around nuances around charging infrastructure as well as the fleet business. Thank you very much, Kartik, for joining the show.
Thank you, Pritesh, for having me here. It's indeed a pleasure to join a thought leader like yourself in the field of automotive industry in the country.
Thank you very much, Kartik. So, Kartik, more than 11,500 stations, more than 14,000 chargers at least, and more than 21,000 connectors, if my data is correct, is the data on which industry is now. And it's really amazing to see the kind of growth which charging infrastructure industry has seen in last few years.
That's correct.
Together with this, if you also look at how the battery sizes are, evolving, especially in the passenger car as well as the buses segment. Yeah. If I look at the 2020 data, it was hovering around 37 kilowatt hour of battery size, which is expected to be around 65 to 70 kilowatt hour on an average size by 2030. Yeah. In buses segment, if I take the example of 9 meters buses, it's around 155 kilowatt hour as of now, which is expected to be more than 200 kilowatt hour by 2030. And for 12 meter buses, currently it's around 200 kilowatt hour, which is expected to be around 320 kilowatt hour by 2030. And if we also talk about the truck segment, which is also in the range of approximately 200 kilowatt hour. What I'm trying to say, Kartik, is that if you connect these data points, it looks like India from the vehicle side is going to move in the direction of high capacity battery sizes, which in turn will result into high capacity chargers.
Yes.
So when I look at your discussions and viewpoints, I see you were very clear since beginning about India is going to move towards the high capacity charging points. So we can begin our conversation with that, your viewpoint. But before that, I wanted to take your inputs around your journey and how did you decide to be in the electric mobility business. So, but I want to go a little back about your career, because I have some understanding about, whether you're coming from entrepreneurship background or as a professional. How is it?
Thank you, Pritesh. I think this question is very nostalgic in a way. Well, I've already spent 25 years in the industry. Incidentally, this month I complete my 25 years of journey since I joined L&T as a trainee. And the first 5 to 7 years were in the life of an engineer as a part of a corporate team. And my real journey of entrepreneurship started in the year 2010 when I initiated myself into the field of renewable energy. In the early days of solar photovoltaics, which were largely restricted to microgrids or mini grids, a bit of storage. And I spent almost a decade understanding nuances of the business of electricity. I generally quote myself that there are many things in life I don't understand, but definitely if one thing that I can understand very clearly is the business of electricity and the nuances of regulations that follows or that rules the electrical engineering industry in the country. And it was only in the late last decade, somewhere in 2018-19, where personally I thought to myself that I've been doing all this EPC work into solar photovoltaics. I'm sure I won't be able to retire with this, with this business, but always dreamt of creating what you call as an energy platform. And e-mobility came into my personal attention in early 2018.
Okay.
And as a team from 2010 to 2018, we had already gained expertise on applied electrical engineering, largely on the infrastructure side, building transmission lines, switchyards, solar photovoltaic plants at a utility scale level, and so on. And then we said, well, let's look at the EV ecosystem or e-mobility ecosystem and look at what are the areas that we can work. And then discovered that EV charging infrastructure is the very closest resemblance of what we are already doing.
Right.
And the similarity did ended in terms of the level 1 infrastructure, that is your power infrastructure. But again, I was skeptical about myself, about the industry, that even if this is going to be regulatory driven, it will be extremely difficult. And thankfully, in the summer of 2018, Government of India announced that EV charging is will not be regulated. It won't be called as a power trading industry. It's still going to be can be tech driven, infra driven, but consumer focused. And ChargeZone was born in the month of April 2018 when government issued this half-a-page circular saying that EV charging is no longer a power trading business, or it will be deregulated.
Separate, consumer.
And well, that was the beginning of journey for ChargeZone. And fast forward today, we are one of the few companies globally who are profitable at EBITDA level, number one, and at a scale. Secondly, we are fully integrated in terms of our own capabilities. And I think this was some of the unique calls we took in the year 2018-19. We have a pre-COVID journey and post-COVID as well. But early then, we realized that if we do not have a control on the value chain that we want to deliver, because ultimately, to an end customer, we are going to deliver EV charging as a service.
Yes.
It's very important that the back end is completely in control of what we build. And we very clearly, or by intention or by design, stayed away from temptations such as manufacturing of chargers and so on. We said we'll be focusing on as an energy infra, as a service, therefore an energy infra company, and therefore let's just build this infrastructure and the network. And another decision that we took was to focus on high-speed charging for four-wheelers. Now, 5-6 years ago, there were hardly much of these large format vehicles. In 2018-19, I'd seen some of the buses being rolled out under the GCC contracts and all. And some of the OEMs such as Tata Motors or MG Motors had launched some of this initial, or the market initiation by early.
With like lower side of the battery sizes.
Absolutely, yeah, correct. And I think it was a very nascent phase of the industry. And the discovery process was on, whether there will be an acceptability, will electric mobility is here to stay, and so on. So honestly, we have lived a journey from absolutely white canvas until the green number plates that you see. And I'm really thankful to Mr. Gadkari ji for introducing this green number, which is very unique in the world. So thankfully, we see more of green number plates these days, and the recent statistics of market in terms of sales or penetration of cars or buses and now even trucks is extremely encouraging.
Right. Kartik, I want to understand more about how did you decide that you are going to focus more on high capacity chargers? Because that time, if you look at the trend, it started from 15 kilowatt to 30, then 60, then 120. But I think your focus was mostly around highways, that too with high capacity chargers since beginning. And now we are talking about high capacity chargers, even in the range of 180 and 200 kilowatt. So how did you decide? I mean, how you were very clear about this direction?
So I think whenever we start anything new, generally it's very blurred. The vision is blurred, and you need to figure it out as you move forward. But we were fortunate enough to get some breaks in terms of providing supercharging infrastructure for buses.
Okay.
And that was the time it dawned on us that after all, power is voltage times current. Yeah. And if the battery size will become bigger, and if the C rating improves, there will be more demand of kilowatt power. And we did not want to limit ourselves or limit our customers, saying that there is an absence of a supercharger and therefore I cannot charge. And therefore the decision got skewed between the fast chargers and superchargers and the combination thereof.
Right.
We also realized that India is a land of small cars. Also micro mobility exists, and therefore 30 kilowatt, 60 kilowatt is here to stay.
Needed, yes.
But our bet was also largely on commercial vehicles. So buses is one thing, but then we had visualized that if there is going to be a case of intercity buses and intercity trucks, then we are in the game.
Yeah.
And it dawned on us in late 22 and beginning of 23 that we better start focusing on creating a supercharging network. And we started with few corridors like Bangalore, Chennai, for example, then Hyderabad, Vijayawada, Hyderabad, Bangalore, some of the southern routes, and then we focus on the western and northern routes as well.
Right.
And this led to a lot of clarity at our end, that we focus not only on a 240 kilowatt single charger, but we put multiple guns at a single location. Therefore, the cumulative capacity of a charging station will range from half a megawatt to, let's say, 1.5 megawatt. And with that came along a lot of other new possibilities, such as battery energy storage to solve for grid reliability.
Right.
But now we are even turning it to be a prosumer. In a sense, we generate our power, we store it, and then we sell it at will or whenever. Customer is more of an on-demand, because charging infrastructure is generally an on-demand service. Even if you contract with some anchor customers or a B2B contract, as we call it, still there is nothing like a fixed schedule of these vehicles to come in and go. So this was an early call. I am glad that it turned out good for us. Not necessarily that everything that you start and you visualize can be 100% correct. But I'm glad that over the last 3 years, supercharging has been in a huge demand, an uptick of demand due to the introduction of large format vehicles.
Right. And one thing also I have noticed, for example, when I look at the social media posts or when I try to understand more about your company, your setups are generally very large, and they really look aesthetically very nice. So is that also part of this strategy, that you want to go for a bigger hub kind of a charging station wherein you put more number of chargers, more number of connectors, and which one is the biggest you have as of now?
Right. So, well, the biggest one is 1.2 megawatt cumulative capacity, 5 superchargers, and that's on the highway. And the biggest one is near Bangalore Airport, almost a 5 megawatt capacity with roughly 200 cars that can be charged, or 200 vehicles can be charged at the same time. However, the decision of creating a charging station and not just a charger, there's two different things altogether. It stemmed from my own personal experience. So, for example, this was way back in 21, it was just 4 years ago actually. We decided to electrify Mumbai-Ahmedabad highway for the first time. And I took an electric car. I drove it from Mumbai to Ahmedabad just to experience the range anxiety and the reliability anxiety part as well. And in those days, we realized that if the EV car adoption, and then subsequently other commercial vehicles, if this kind of adoption need to happen, we really need to bring in a proper, reliable charging network on the ground.
Right.
Also, during early days of exponential setting, we realized that we need to co-locate this charger at a restaurant or at a location where there are amenities, or you got to create amenities.
Right.
Because unlike gas stations where the refilling time is probably less than 5 minutes, in this case will be generally be 20-30 minutes, and the customer will want to spend some time having a cup of coffee or anything else. So So with this thing, we said, well, the setup need to be a proper charging station. Secondly, introducing canopy and all was a default in our case. The Indian environment is slightly harsher than, let's say, Europe or US. There's a dust, there's sun, there's strong rains, and so
obviously it has some cost, but
it does have cost. But what it does, it develops trust and confidence with the customer or with the driver of an EV. And then we realized also an opportunity to do branding of ChargeZone. And I think, well, this is a kind of a derivative opportunity, but let's focus on that as well. And therefore, more and more charging stations that we have developed. In fact, all of them, will have a canopy, will have multiple charging points. They are fast chargers to superchargers. And there's another angle to this. While the audience of this podcast, if you are listening in UK or Europe or US, if I say that these charging stations are unmanned, well, there's no surprise in those markets. In India, anything unmanned is an extremely
it's a big
difficult
debate.
sell. It's a big debate. It's a difficult sell.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we took that decision, a tough call, and a tough call to make the stations unmanned. And the reason is that the unit economics weren't working in the favor of a manned station. And secondly, we had an internal debate with our team as well. That today you may get a so-called gas station attendant, but it doesn't really enhance any career opportunities. Right? So I'm not very sure if this kind of talent will be at all be available, and if it is going to be reliable employment in terms of their commitment to the charging business, like a charging company like ours. But I'm glad that a decision to make the charging station better looking, at least optically reliable to begin with, and attracts more customers, as well as making unmanned. I think these were the two key decisive strategic drivers, I would say, that made our charging station, let's say, better, being more well known compared to yesterday and day before yesterday, and so on.
Right. So Kartik, whenever, for example, if I go to Bangalore and all top properties, for example, ITCs and everywhere, I can see like ITC Gardenia. Last time I was there and I saw a very nice setup of ChargeZone, if I remember correctly. And there also, even those premises, you had a very nice canopy. So it actually improves the overall look and feel of the station. And most of the times I have seen the vehicles being charged, at least nowadays.
Wonderful.
So
glad to hear that.
So Kartik, is that part of your location strategy, that you are choosing the properties wherein at least some of the facilities are available and people can spend good quality time, and is that available at the highways where you have the charging stations, number one? And second is, I mean, for those properties also, such kind of setups are becoming a selling point, I guess, nowadays, rather than just being a normal infra setup, your opinion?
Yeah. Well, when we started electrifying highways and also for that matter city location, I think both the quality of the location and accessibility to the location is important. Right? If you are putting up a charging station which is not on a highway, but let's say 100 meters inside, I think it's very difficult to sell. It's like any other gas station, for example.
Correct.
And therefore, quality of location and accessibility of the location became a top priority. So every time we set up a new charging station, the quality of the location is a top priority, and it goes in terms of the first step of selecting a site and doing the recce and so on and so forth. Then comes the access to the power infrastructure, the DISCOM connection and so on. And having said that, we started believing in what we call as a power of network.
Yes.
Just very similar to a telecom network, right? I mean, the tower network which enables mobile telephoning.
Right.
And I think there is a very striking similarity we discovered in the case of charging infra as well. Just that you are doing infrastructure and delivering a consumer service at the same time. So therefore it became very clear to us that let's establish a network within top cities in the country to begin with, because EV adoption is likely to come into metros and larger cities and larger cities. And if this were in tier 2, tier 3 cities, let us enable highways, because there is always going to be home charging as an option to these customers. The second part of supercharger was also was an idea around 2-3 years ago, thinking that we'll have a intercity electric bus one day or intercity electric truck one day. And now we are seeing those vehicles coming on road by multiple players in the market or emerging players in the market. So today we have a very clear template within the organization in terms of how we are going to roll out these chargers.
Okay.
And another thing to highlight is these chargers are ultimately, they run on an IoT network.
Yes.
And things that we pre-programmed, the first line of code that we wrote in 2019, we call it Charge Cloud, which is a charging management system. Incidentally, Charge Cloud is being used by companies like ADNOC as well, Abu Dhabi National Corporation, which we never thought that we will be a software as a service or a platform as a service, but it just happened. Yeah. But it was a good validation for the tech that we built. Yeah. And this became a default operating system for our chargers. And therefore, today, everything is driven digitally. The entire experience is digital in nature. Entire data acquisition and monitoring is a digital function by itself. And this allows us for a deeper customer engagement and feedback, and therefore improvement that we need to make in what we call as improving the customer journey.
Yeah. Right. So overall focus is on user experience also,
Absolutely.
not just...
Absolutely.
So
not just infrastructure.
Not just infrastructure. And if I remember you saying in 2019, you were dispensing around 10,000 units per month.
Yeah.
And currently it's more than 12 million per month, 12 million units per month.
That's it.
So is it like scale? I think scale has come with the numbers, but utilization improvement is also playing a role, or how do you see utilization game changing, or still chargers are at very lower level of utilization?
Yeah. So if I map out ChargeZone network, our own network across the commercial vehicles and personal mobility, together we are already at roughly 12 to 14% utilization.
Very nice.
However, we work also in silos, considering there are certain subsegments that we enable, such as intercity personal mobility or intercity commercial mobility or even intracity fleet mobility and so on. And I won't be surprised that if we are going to do 10x now in next 3 to 4 years, and that's our target as well.
Okay.
And then on the other side, the entire metric that we generally analyze is the utilization part, right? And therefore the sales or the income that you derive by selling energy. So therefore, today our network capacity is now close to 125 megawatt, which will achieve hopefully by next quarter. And we're looking to make it roughly another 4x, looking forward for a half a gigawatt capacity in the next 4 years, which will be dominated by supercharging stations plus the fast charging stations as well. And also we are adding more and more fleet hubs in various cities to enable what we call electric car, taxis or light commercial vehicles and so on. So at the end of the day, the utilization levels or the growth in utilization levels has been a huge confidence booster.
Okay.
It was pretty flat for the couple of years during 23, 24.
Right.
But since beginning of 25, there has been a strong traction with a double-digit growth on a quarter-to-quarter basis.
Okay, so which means utilization is increasing
Dramatically, very
dramatically. Yeah, Kartikeya, I wanted to take your opinion about the quality of chargers. As I was mentioning that the moment it crosses 10% utilization, real testing of the hardware begins.
Yes.
And as you decided that you will not enter into the manufacturing business, how you ensure the quality of the hardware? Is there any particular metrics through which you select suppliers, or how is it in India?
So one thing is clear that over the period of time, over the last few years, the Indian charger OEMs have localized their capabilities, have developed their tech indigenously, and in EV charger is a hardware and a software combo. Right. Ultimately, it's a product which also runs in compliance with our own operating system, which is our Charge Cloud, charging management software. And fundamentally, OCPP drives most of the features around the embedded software. Right. But at the end of the day, while ChargeZone doesn't openly talk about tech, because honestly, our end user, our customer, really is not interested in the technology. He's only interested in a reliable EV charging service at a good location, at a competitive price.
Right.
Therefore, we decided to take the partnerships or collaboration with charger manufacturer by the horns in terms of deepening the feedback loop, improving the quality of the charger in terms of form, fit, and function.
Right.
And from the monolith, we are also now focusing on the dispenser version or satellite version of the chargers, which has fundamentally a better configuration to serve the market, because at the end of the day, our charging station, we expect all kind of vehicles to come in with a 30 kilowatt battery or a 400 kilowatt battery. Yeah. And I personally believe that it's not only the charger hardware, but also the other power infrastructure, such as transformer, relay panels, and we all even started integrating an EMS, energy management system, across our network on the upstream side in terms of connecting each of this power equipment as a IoT device.
Right.
Yeah, right. Okay. And I think this is how we believe that we will be able to step up the game in terms of what we call as a technology-led charging operations, and still continuing to make the customer can just feel in terms of having a very seamless EV charging experience.
Yeah, great. So switching a little bit around towards the fleet operators business, I understand your focus around developing high capacity chargers across highways and 40 plus cities in which you're operating now. At the same time, you decided to venture with Billion Electric, right? Which is a fleet operator company, and you operate mostly around the fixed routes. So how you decided, and why did you venture into the fleet operator business, and that too with a trucking business wherein making the cost economic sense vis-a-vis diesel vehicles is difficult until or unless you have a long-term contract.
Right.
So what's the focus there, if you can just talk about?
Yeah, this idea, Pritish, was arrived. Okay, we can just reset this.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So this idea of electric mobility as a service was conceived in the year 2023. And honestly, Pritish, at that time, we didn't have much business on hand. We are rolling out a network of EV charging and wondering that if at all somebody is going to use it. But what started as a weekend humor suddenly became a very serious opportunity. And my colleagues, Mustafa Wajid and Sanjeev Kulkarni, we huddled together in terms of conceptualizing how Billion Electric mobility can be one of the torchbearer, or can eventually be one of the significant player in the commercial EV mobility or commercial electric mobility market in the country. And the idea or the inspiration of electric truck was derived from one data point, and the data point was, in India, the top 51 cities have more than 100 million plus vehicles. Two-wheeler, three-wheeler, four-wheeler put together. Less than 5% are buses and trucks.
Yes.
And they consume more than 40-50% of diesel every day.
Yeah.
And then I said to myself, well, this is the problem to solve for. And we went to the truck OEMs and requested them, can you develop an electric truck? Of course, they said there's no market, there's no customer. And they said, no, we can be your customer. And don't worry, if things fail, we are not going to go to social media and put red flags against you. So an easy conversation began with, ended up at a starting point of developing large capacity trucks. And fast forward today, we are inching towards the first 100 plus trucks of 55 tonner and 19 tonner capacity, which is N3 and N2, and also some of the N1 category like 5 ton and 12 ton as well. The other focus as Billion Electric is largely on the decarbonization of mid-mile. And that's a challenge we thought we'll take up. So instead of staying in a comfort zone, such as operating trucks in a controlled environment, we decided to take a leap of faith in terms of enabling mid-mile transportation through electric mobility. And coming to long-term contracts, it's a business as usual at the end of the day. And it was as usual, very early lessons that we learned in the journey in terms of getting these trucks in terms of shaping up a viable commercial contract or commercial business model of deploying these EV trucks for various customers. So I'm glad we ended up with some of the interesting corporates, names such as Amazon, Transsystem, which is a Mitsui company working for Toyota, Then we have DB Schenker, which is one of the
DB
largest
Schenker
German
also.
logistics firm. Now we're deploying trucks for GK Cement, also Hindalco, Villa Copper. So these are large corporates which are also very very serious about their carbon footprints.
Yeah.
While it gives us an opportunity in terms of scaling it up,
Right.
With the right capital and right cost of capital as well.
So smaller vehicles, when I talk about, when I see the e-commerce companies especially, they mainly look for the cost benefit. Let's say if it is more than 20-25% cost benefit, then they adopt maybe. That's why they have converted their four-wheeler 30% from three-wheeler. But now they're converting four-wheeler to four-wheeler. But is this the focus in the truck segment also? Because it has to make some cost benefit in the end.
Yeah. So Pritesh, while ask is clear, the writing is on the wall that for a scale to happen, one has to prove the cost economics or a very competitive TCO on a long run. While our customers have been expecting this, but we did ask to our customers, well, I think we need to make a choice here. You've got to take a call here. Is it that you want to adopt clean mobility for cost economics or for the environment?
Yes.
You want to earn the brownie points on the ESG targets, therefore the carbon footprints. You've got to take a call.
Right.
And this happened with us in early 25 when we ordered close to 200 trucks to Ashok Leyland. We also announced that we will be matching the diesel prices.
Yeah.
All right. It was too early to say that, but we took a call because we were pretty confident that the price of the battery, or as the downward curve in terms of the battery pricing, progresses, we can still have more competitive TCO as we move forward. And I'm glad we could convince the customers on those lines, and having said that, we also laid out our vision in front of them that we are looking for a first milestone of 5,000 trucks in the next 4 years. So if we start today, we'll eventually be ready to beat diesel by a margin of, let's say, 5 or 10%, but not today. And I'm glad some of the very environment conscious customers did agree to sign up, even considering that there won't be saving. But certainly, I think for the sake of carbon footprints, people will go an extra length. And I'm glad the corporates are agreeing for those.
That is the very first time I'm hearing, and it's encouraging to understand.
Absolutely,
that.
yes.
Now you're targeting, I think, to move up to 250 plus trucks very soon. So what is the challenge, right? Whether the demand is the challenge, or the infra is the challenge, or the availability of capital is the challenge to move beyond from 100 to 250 and then eventually 5,000 trucks, as you said, as part of the vision.
Correct. So, any new industry, any similar industry always faces challenges of multiple kinds.
100%.
So, our first priority was to get the product right.
Yes.
Now, the truck runs. We have already done 1 million kilometers. We are adding almost 250,000 kilometers every month. And barring 1 or 2 incidents, we achieved most of the KPIs set by our customer. Most of them is a TAT, the turnaround time.
Yeah.
An electric truck is actually very comfortable to drive.
Yeah.
Our drivers do not want to go back to diesel. That itself proves the love for electric trucks. It's a silent machine, less fatigue, and therefore a driver really enjoys and is willing to go an extra mile, literally, to do even one more trip if he wants to. On the other side, when it comes to scaling up, now the corporates agreeing for a long-term engagement is a great starting point. Secondly comes the availability of the capital and the demand, and of course the supply chain part. So let me address some points around the demand side.
Yes.
If I tell you that we hardly have any marketing team, that probably would answer this question. And we have more inbound calls than outbound calls as far as the request goes in terms of contracting electric trucks for the fleet operations. In other words, demand is massive,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
conscious corporates are really wanting to deploy trucks for their use. Second point on the capital, yes, it's a challenge because until now, this industry never had any empirical data. There's no history of data to validate. Thanks to various think tanks, thanks to government policies, thanks to institutions like yourself, I think this has really enabled a significant understanding of this market, particularly with the large capital providers.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to share that the decarbonization funds, the growth capital pockets are very keen to look at the sector and to even to invest. And today, both as ChargeZone and Billion, both the teams, we are on a kind of a mission mode. It's not about environment alone. It's also, I believe, that as a country, if we want to achieve or move towards energy security or take those steps towards energy security, electric mobility will play a very important role.
Yes.
And therefore, it's very important that as a country, as a government, as an industry stakeholder, and as a society in general, we start adopting EV as early as possible, whether it's a two-wheeler, three-wheeler, or four-wheeler. Secondly, the fuel is produced here. As long as we have blessings of the sun gods and the wind gods, renewables is here to stay. Thanks to BSS and all, it's getting even more competitive in terms of the base load, in terms of the fixed dispatch or consumption of renewable energy through your duty cycle, which are very erratic in nature as far as electric mobility is concerned. So we believe that these multiple factors are just coming together.
Right.
And personally, I'm very fortunate, along with my team, that we believe that we are probably in the right industry at the right time. And I think you've got to be really super lucky to be at the right place at the right time with the right frame of mindset, which as a team you can create a difference to the society and country in general.
Right. Kartikey, as you said, like customers are now willing at least to agree on, even if it is a little costly for them. That's a great start of the industry, and eventually everybody has to make some kind of benefit out of it, which will happen with the scale and time. Absolutely. And reducing cost of components, including batteries, motors, and also in the process, the better vehicle quality is going to be there.
That's correct.
But in the current situation, I think, as you said, there is no empirical data available for doing comparison and decision making. The IRR requests are in the range of maybe 14-18%. So how are you managing that kind of thing, as well as what industry can do to bring more confidence so that they don't ask for such IRRs, maybe real-time data availability for to different stakeholders, battery health monitoring data, some kind of tools and technologies. What is your opinion on that?
Well, the cost of capital is high. Yeah, it's clear that when it comes to debt financing or asset leasing or EV leasing programs, the expectations are in mid-teens. Now, for the industry to be competitive, the cost of capital need to be lower, and it's been my request to the government, and of course we represent through various forums, is to make electric mobility as a priority lending sector. Now, until RBI steps in and announces it, it's going to be difficult for banks, traditional lenders, to have that confidence into the EV ecosystem, plus their ability to lend at a competitive rates. The second part is there is an absence of long-term history, empirical data, as we say. But there is, fortunately, EVs are a cloud-connected platform, and there is a real-time data available for every minute, for every hour, or every kilometer. And therefore, the day is not very far where there will be real-time dashboards which are already been developed, which has been developed, but access to the real-time dashboard being provided to the lenders from time to time for them to monitor the performance of these assets and so on. And we have developed similar tech at Billion Electric as well, in terms of the monitoring of the battery health, in terms of monitoring of the driver behavior, vehicle behavior, performance, and so on. And I think this has gradually built the confidence with our existing investors, financiers, and all. But at the same time, as Billion enters into a new Series A raise, we are seeing that good confidence, a good spark of confidence at least with incoming investors to support the growth program of Billion Electric.
This priority lending sector EV status, I think this is there since last many years as part of the debate, and even Niti Aayog recommended that RBI should mandate it as priority sector, but that has not happened till now. Do you foresee any reason and any timeline by when this decision can be taken, or why government is not able to take this decision, the RBI?
Sure. I think it probably, according to me, it boils down to the competitiveness of electric vehicle. While a person buying a two-wheeler will certainly not talk about TCO, or a person who's going to buy an electric car for personal use, even will not evaluate TCO. It's a more of conscious decision. But as the cost of the battery which has come down, and also the TCO for commercial mobility is becoming very interesting, I would say, competitive in some cases, or at a very striking distance compared to a diesel TCO.
Right.
It now provides a case of a scale and scalability by the players in the industry. And I personally foresee that this will be probably within a year's time from today. We see RBI to classify this as a priority lending sector in any case. One of the lenders for us is still State Bank of India. We have just signed up. We're tied up with them under their EVMitra scheme, where we got a cost of capital roughly around early double digit. But this is just a beginning, and I believe that there will be within probably 10 to 12 months is the max timeline where you see the lending getting to a let's say higher single digit, which definitely caused the sector to really scale it up from
That's
from
great
the point
to hear.
today.
And maybe that will also be, the confidence building will also happen with the more and more availability of data, even if we don't have the historical data. But I think because of the quality improvement of the vehicle, investments by different stakeholders, anyway, confidence building is happening. So I also hope that RBI takes that decision. That will be a game changing, I think, for industry to move on.
Absolutely.
If I look at the data of investments, 2 years back data, then across the electric mobility segment, I think infra was something which was, too much in demand for investors to put money. But in last 2 years, actually, the scenario has changed. I'm not particularly talking about infra business, but I'm talking about the entire startup ecosystem. So earlier, funds were available for majority of the companies with whatever businesses, but suddenly it's drying out, in my opinion. So is there an impact on the infra business also? Because any such business, requires a lot of support from the policymakers, from the investors.
Absolutely.
And in the end, this really gives the benefit.
Well, I think the startup ecosystem has seen the journey. It has been a roller coaster ride. There has been a funding winter, and so on. And having said that, any startup idea or any new business idea, it goes through its own funding cycle. There are always an early stage investors, we call them angels here, who take a leap of faith backing the group of founders to dwell on a idea or a product or a service that they are creating. But when it comes to a tipping point, as the electric mobility now inches towards a tipping point, there is a need of a much larger capital. And this larger capital is generally supported by either VCs or private equity. And considering the nature of our business as ChargeZone, or for that matter, even Billion Electric Mobility, these are all capex driven. They are capex hungry as well. They are infra. It has its own risk and mitigation plan that you need to really carve out. And therefore, in our journey, we moved from early participation of angel investors directly to private equity. And we had to bypass VC in a sense. And this really helped in a couple of ways. We were able to crack open the right business model because without capital you can't do it. And once you've done it, then you demonstrate the success, early success into the business model that you created, and therefore the scale, and therefore a case of fresh new capital, more capital, because the nature of the business is, as I said, is capex driven. And my recommendation to the fellow entrepreneurs is all about gaining a deeper understanding. Even a couple of years ago, personally, I was lacking any knowledge about the world of private equity. I've personally gone through a very steep learning over the last 24 months in understanding which pockets of capital work for us, which won't. So I think as long as an entrepreneur takes an early call or develops an early understanding of the ecosystem of funding as well, it's very, very important, because it's one of the crucial cog in the wheel as far as the success of business is considered.
Right. Kartik, let's also discuss the policy part of it, because there has been a lot of support from the policymakers. Everybody was in the learning phase, and even the policymakers. They have, in my opinion, done a fabulous job, and they have been kind of coming up with different policies that they have been learning and updating the policies as well. So in the PM eDrive, there are two things. One, this is the first time when they decided to put 2,000 crores, which any private CPU can also avail. It doesn't have to go necessarily through the PSU route. Second is the announcement of incentives of 500 CR on the electric trucks, which was like in huge demand or request from the industry side.
That's true.
So first, I want to understand: is implementation happening around this 2,000 crore, or still it's going through the PSU route?
So Pritish, I personally believe that government is one of the most important business partner in the industry like ours, right? When it comes to mobility or even energy infrastructure. And another PM eDrive. It's of course very exciting to the allocation of 2,000 crore under PM eDrive, but the implementation is the key. The execution is the key here, and I think there are various deliberations at the ministry level in terms of how they want to implement this. I hope we'll be having some news around it in terms of the mechanism of deployment. I understand that there will be equal participation by PSU and the private sector this time. And as I also have given my recommendations and the representation to our association, Indian Charge Point Operator Association, is in terms of it is 2,000 crores to be spent largely on the power infra side and the location development, because the charger itself or the percentage of capex on a charging station, a charger just merely contributes less than 20%. It's 80% or higher is largely on the power infrastructure. However, as ChargeZone, we have never dwelled on the expectations of any subsidy. Maybe we might be one of the few CPOs globally who never
said once that dhanda karne dete hain, wahi enough hai.
Government allowing to do business is a greatest achievement. But that comes from Prime Minister Modi's vision, right? He said the business of government is not to win business, it's governance, right? So I personally expect that the ministry comes up with a workable solution of deploying this 2,000 crore, which is very important at this stage. It's not a very big number, but it's important because we expect a total capex of 20,000 crores. So somewhere around $2.5 to $3 billion in the charging infrastructure in the country, and this is I'm saying by 2021. And it's just 5 years. And similarly on the electric truck side. While the policy got announced, mechanism has got announced, but there is a couple of features in terms of the scrapping of vehicle, which is a little discouraging. But the recommendations again have been submitted to the ministry. Hopefully there could be a corrective action on that.
So like the 500 CR, I think government is also considering that as a pilot scheme, maybe something similar what they did in FAME 1, and then the learnings were incorporated before they came FAME 2, with FAME 2. So 500 crore incentives, 5,000 INR 5,000 per kilowatt hour, restrictions in terms of 10% of the manufacturing cost. Then there is a PMP which needs to be complied, the warranty, etc. Which one probably is causing limited implementation or limited adoption, maybe, if I can ask?
I think the point of scrappage of a existing diesel truck is a point of contention.
Okay.
Because it has been mapped to N2 and N3 category each.
Yeah.
If I say N3 category, which is a 55 tonner, that itself is a
Yes.
is a hardly a 7 or 8 year
Right.
model
Yeah.
in the country, and you won't get a vehicle to scrap. So that's been one point, and the second is the localization percentage, right? Yeah. So the PMP part and other things, which could be little discouraging.
Yeah.
But considering roughly around 10 lakh rupees a vehicle, which is say around $12,000 to $12,500 a vehicle,
Right.
is a good start according to me. And also recently the reduction in the cost of battery packs
Right.
has led to very interesting pricing by the truck OEMs. But one of the very very important discovery we have made is a better utilization of electric trucks, thanks to the pickup, acceleration, easy and ease for a driver to
Right.
for a seamless experience of driving and so on. I think it is a very compelling case according to me. I've driven a truck myself. I've driven actually diesel truck and electric truck for roughly 40-50 kilometers myself on the same day, and I can say with all confidence that this electric truck is far superior in terms of the experience as a driver. And on the other side, I think the benefits are very well known, and more importantly, I believe that is a stepping stone towards the most important challenge is solving the energy security for our country.
Yeah. So on second part, actually, as you said, scrapping part of it, as well as the compliance of phase manufacturing program, definitely is a little bit of restrictive in nature, because until or unless component industry develops, OEMs cannot buy from the local market, and truck becomes even bigger issue because of the numbers which are there, limited numbers which are there. So
that's correct.
And in terms of developing the component ecosystem, which obviously is taking more than what government was expecting across the vehicle segment, so I'm sure there has to be some leniency, as well as maybe some relaxation can be given for scrapping part of it. Otherwise, it's really going to be difficult to implement. And then when you go for scaling of this from 500 CR to 5,000 CR, that has to be considered. On second point, my observation is that whosoever actually takes the money, whether private CPOs or the PSU route from the charging infra money of 2,000 crore, it has to be implemented properly. So the charging stations should come at a location where it is utilized, not in the previous cases. They have been even now being deployed, the CCS, the CHAdeMOs and everything, CHAdeMO, which GBYT is there, which don't have any vehicles actually. So it has to be implemented properly
and thoughtfully, yes.
And thoughtfully. It was really nice conversation. I have been waiting of this conversation since long, and I'm really thankful, Kartikey, that you somehow found some time for me today. And I'm sure whosoever is watching this is going to be really beneficial to understand the entire startup ecosystem, what are the challenges, what it takes to build a company with a larger vision. And I'm also sure it gives a much better understanding of the policies, much better understanding of how the ecosystem is evolving, as well as some inputs about investments, fund availability, and overall challenge which industry is facing, and how it looks like towards 2020, 2030. So thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for more episodes and learnings. Thank you very much. Thanks, Karthi, for joining the show.
Thank you, Pritesh. It was wonderful having a conversation to you.